We're continuing our Shiurim on Otzrot Chaim. We are now on Shaar Leidat Hamochin. That is in the old edition, that's Daf Lamed Beis Amud Beis, and in the Matuk Midrash, it's Daf Mem He and Chelek Beis. So we've done this already. We've done a few pages already, but we're going to go back for the sake that we're starting anew. So it's called again Shaar Leidat Hamochin. And by the way, in Otzrot Chaim, it's called Shaar Hamochin. But it's the exact same parent there. Nachzor says the Arizal. Nachzor le'el.
Is there actually a difference between these Melchim and Shaar Hamochin?
No, same that.
Why was the name changed? No.
What?
Why was the name changed?
Not the name changed. They just inverse the pokim. So later on, we have what's called Shaar Hamochin, and they changed it to Leidat Hamochin. It's just a formality, but it's all the same. Now, Nachzor le'el v'ne'ema v'hine nisba'im shlosha b'china shel vak. Shehem nikroim malche edom emasai nitkenim. Now we already seen, he was just marking to us what we've seen so far. We've done a bechina, a tikkun called the tikkun on what's called the vak which we know as the zayin malachim, and we did a tikkun called the anach, which is oros nitzusus and kelim on that. And it took us 12 months to masakin the kelim, 9 months to masakin the tzutzos, and 7 months in order to masakin the oils. Now we're going to speak about something else. That was all in the vak. Now, tzorch levaya old bechina acher. So we're going to speak about different bechina now. V'hi ma shizba etzleinu b'hava mekomim shgam zman ha'ibur yesh bechinas mochim el zah. Mochim el zah. That means even though we're speaking about the vak is represented by zah. It's called the zah. Zayin molochim. זה אנפין, שהם שלוש ראשונות, אלא שהם בחינת שלוש שמות אלוקים, כנזכר אצלנו בהרבה מקומות. So even though we speak about the vak, we say the vak is the zah, parts of zah. That doesn't just mean that the vak has 6 spheres and nothing more. Of course, that an ibul, a child, even though it's called an ibul, still has a head, right? So the chokhmah bina das that we don't mention, we only call him vak, which is chesed ad malchus. Avada, there's linked in them what's called the mochim, which is called the mochim de katnus, and that in the kavanas that's represented by shemus of Elokim. But you have to know that it's still there. The Kabbalah is still there. We're going to investigate about this. It's very important to realize that. V'kasher narech ba'arba kelim shel mochim bezman yud beis chodoshim. The arba kelim, which he's referring to, is chokhmah bina. And then in das, you split das into two, as we know. It's a chuk there. The chasadim the das, and the gvuls the das. So that's the 4 that we speak about. V'kasher narich ha'arba kelim shel hamochim b'zman yud beis chodoshim nimtza b'shlosha chodoshim nigba mo keli haroi lios lo moach echad. So again, we know that kelim Abza, we knew that we were raising them from Bia, and they need rectification, and it takes 12 months to rectify them. They go, where did they go? They go back into Ima, right? They go where? From they broke, they fell into Bia, and now we're raising them back up from Bia, the worlds of Bia, back into the world of Tzilus, and where particularly in the world of Tzilus, into the Bina. There in Bina, which is the Ima, Emma Bonim, we bring them back into Ima, the Kelim, which they had 12 months, and we're going to masakin now. We spoke about the vak. Now we're speaking about the gal. We're speaking of the gimel rishonos. Those 3 kelim, which make 4, because there's a chokhmah bina, and in the das, as we said, there's chasadim the das and gvuls the das. So those 4 divided by the 12 months that you're doing, so it comes out every 3 months you're doing another kelim.
What does it mean, merch echod?
What?
What does merch echod mean?
You have 4 morchim. You have 4 parts to your brain. Right brain, left brain, and middle brain is divided into 2 parts. Chokhmah bina, chasadim das, and gvuls das. So every quarter, you're doing another brain. Every 3 months, you're doing another brain. 4 divided by 12 is 30. Right? You're doing chokhmah first, and then you're doing bina the next third. Next third after that, you're doing chasadim das, and finally the last quarter of the 12 months it takes you to the second kelim, you're doing the last brain.
Chokhmah das are called brains.
Brains. Yeah.
I mean, they're called merchim.
Right brain, left brain, yeah, and middle brain. Yeah. Now, keli Now you have to realize there's two things here. There's two things we have to differentiate here. There's called the keli, meaning the actual moach, that's the keli. And inside the moach is also the spiritual chalokim of keli, which is called the intelligence. We call it the intelligence in the brain. The brain gets educated and has intelligence. That's called the mochim. So when we call the mochim, that can mean two things. Either we're referring back to the keli of the moach, which means the actual moach, or we're referring to the intelligence of the moach. And that's as we see, as the child grows, we don't give him more brains in quantity, but rather we give him more brains in eichus, in quality. V'ine, keli hamoach hu mebechinas elokim. Now, since we're talking about it's still a cotton, it's Ibul, and Yanika is still in a cotton stage, that's what it's called in the Kavanas as Elokim. We see this mofia in the Sidurim, in the Shaar Kavanas says, and the heilige names of the Elokim. Hu gematria Peva, which is 86. Gematria of Elokim is 86. Now, what does 86 represent? It's basically 3 months, isn't it? Keminyan aniska shukov lishiur hayomim sheyesh begimel chadoshim. Vaz nigma moach echad shel Elokim. As nigma moach echad shel Elokim. As we said, every 3 months you're going to finish off another moach, which since we're dealing with the uba, it's a lower level, it's called Elokim. After 12 months, you finish all 4 chalokim of the brains. It's just all bebichnas kelim. Remember, we have anach, oiras, nitzutzos, kelim. So out of the 3, so far we've done 12 months. We've a second the kelim, of which chelik of the gar. Now, what about nitzutzos? In the gar, shebizman teisha chodoshim hu beofen acher. The 12 months is we do something else now. Teisha chodoshim, so 9 months for the nitzutzos. How are we going to divide now the 4 brains, the 4 gar, the 4 chokhmah bina das, and das split into 2? So what we do is that das we revert it back to 1. So that's what we have. We have chokhmah bina das. Chokhmah bina das. How long does it take us? We have 9 months to second the nitzutzot chelik of it, and therefore that comes out that every 3 months we second another brain. Shehine no that slein Hamochin chotam alba v'kluleihem shlosha. Right, the 4 that we spoke about before, chokhmah bina and a chasadim das and gvul das, really can be nichlal into 3, which is called chabad levad. Shem chabad shel zah. Ki adas kolel chasadim v'gvurot v'nimsa shamoach icha mebechinas nitzutzos nigba b'shlosha chodoshim. Comes out that every 3 months you're finishing another brain. First 3 months you're finishing chokhmah. Second 3 months you're finishing up bina. And the last third, which will culminate in the 9 months, will be your das.
Well, this is all in a meduk, though, yeah? I mean, it's just pereck.
What do you mean?
Well, just like the paywall is not nice for 3 months.
It is, because you don't have 30 days every month. Right? It's not 90 days.
You'd say 29. What's 29 times 3?
Yeah, so we said what the cheshbon was, is that you have actually 87 days. Every 7 days plus.
I'm saying, when you say that, it's not.
Plus the koiled, yeah. So it would work out. בשלושת המוחים נגמרים בתשע חודשים שאין זמן עיבור ניצוצות וגם לסיבה זו המוח הזר בשלושה חודשים הוקה אובר. That's the inner of הוקה אובר. לפי שקבע יש לו מוח אחד מתוקן. So the first 3 months, as soon as that's what we call הוקה אובר, because already at the first 3 months you must in one brain. אני מסופק, says הרב חיים ויטל, אני מסופק, מה ששמעתי ממורי ז"ל, אם המוח הראשון שמתחיל לתקן 3 חודשים הראשונים הוא מוח הנקרא חוכמה, now I'm מסופק, do we start first with the chokmah, which I've been telling we're going to start with the chokmah, or better we maybe start with the last brain, which is the das, lios rishon. And why should we start with chokmah? Because it's the first one, וגם הוא קו ימין, or maybe we start with the last brain, which is das. Why should we start with das? Why? Because Shabo Tzod Chasadim V'Gvos Megadlim it's a vlad. We know it's very very choshev as well, because that's megadl the vlad, the actual etzem vlad is you megadl the vak of the vlad, which is the etzem of the vlad. That's why it's taka choshev. So he's poisek that he says like this: Keshapirush v'kepirush rishon nira yosef. I hold that it's taka the first brain that we start first. So we start first with the less dinim, and then we work on more dinim, because again we're doing with the katnas. Katnas is all dinim. Gam yesh b'mochim shem shlosha rishonas bechinas oros. Now, again, gam yesh b'mochim shem shlosha rishonas bechinas oros hanal she'em Shlosha bechinas ores nitzutzes kelim. So again, we've done so far the kelim of the gal. We've done so far the nitzutzes of the gal. Now we're talking about discussing the ores of the gal, then the anach of the gal, which is the oil now. Now even in the bechina of oil we have gal. Shehem shlosha bechinas ores nitzutzes kelim. Lechein sim datcha lehavin inyan hakdama zu. She'i tzricha lecha v'mucheches lehavin rosh drushe zah. V'hi akdama be'inyan mochim de katnus v'yenika v'gadlus de zah. Now he's going to tell us a very important inyan of mochim. Da she'ike zahu bechinas vak bilvad. We know the essence. We know we have two chalokim of zah, of any possible. So we can split the first three bechinas of Chochma Bina Das is called the Gal, and then obviously you have what's called the Vak. Now we're speaking about the Gal of the Bible. Now you should know that the essence, really the etzem, the Ika part of the parts of it is always the Vak. That's what he says over here. Da she'Ika zahu b'chinas Vak bilvad. We know that the Ika is the Vak of the parts of, nothing more, nothing less.
Wait, you mean that's the shosh of it, or it's simply the main part?
We were shurish and main part. I mean, this is the essence of the parts. When you say ani, who am I? Ani, I am. That's the vak, because your mochim is be'etzem what you receive from somebody else. The education doesn't really come from you be'etzem. That's not really you. You just inherit the mochim, whichever yeshiva you went to, whatever you got educated. That's not really you. You've inherited that. But you are be'etzem your body. Your body is actually you. Your neshama in your body, that's your vak sheba. Even your nai is really the start of the next parts of your next generation, right? The children and so on and so forth. But really be'etzem is your chagat. That's what he says. V'chinas klolos shel olam atzilus behiyoyse mitzuyar v'b'chinas parts of ichad bilvad. Kol atzilus kinizke le'el. Omer b'chinas parts of atzmo hu parts of ichad shalom. So you can look at this vak in two different ways. You can look at the vak and say, you know what, za is vav ketzovus, vav sfiros, kabaltik, chesed to malchus. But that's only one way of looking at it. And we know that za stems from the whole part. He takes up his whole chelik of atzilus. Right? Let's read it again. Da she'ikas za hu b'chinas vak bilvad, v'b'chinas klolus kol oilam atzilus. Includes the whole oil of Atzilus. That's the look of Pshuto, because we know there's other Patsufim, but he includes all the Atzilus which he has a part of. Okay? Encompasses that whole entire part. So the Vak or the Za include all the part of the Atzilus which he owns. Now, that's one way of looking at it. One way of looking at it is it takes that entire space. Another way of looking at it is Onam, parts of Atzmo, parts of Echat Shalom. Now you can change the lotion, change your vantage point, and say, you know what, I don't only have 6 spheres here, I have 10 spheres. Right? I have 10 spheres. And this is the way we view things, even though it's actually 6, but we can make it into 10. We'll explain how we do that. We always do this. let me just finish the line. Shen nikraim ibu yinika mochim rutzul gadlus. So that as the ibu develops itself, it's a smaller ibu of vak. That's the ibu stage, and then it continues. This vak starts growing bigger and bigger. That's the yinika stage, and then finally gets this emistic gav. That's called the gadlus in the gadlus stage. When he turns bar mitzvah and at 20 years old, that's when he gets his full-fledged adult at that point. The same thing with the partzufik.
I didn't understand what you just said before.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
What's the question?
You said you can make 6 into 10.
That's right. You can view things, right? I can look at something and say that this is one cup, right? But I can say, well, this is 3 parts of the cup. Because I'm looking at it this one. This is the top, this is the bottom third, this is the middle third, and this is the top third.
Oh, yes, done.
Right? I can view this in many different parts, because there's only 2 parts to it. So I can view this parts of Zah in different ways. Either 6 spheres or 10 spheres. If I view it in 10 spheres, I'm mucha to say there's a head to this. There's a chaba to it. There's a chaba to it.
Well, I mean.
10 spheres means you're starting your cheshbon from chokhmah, bin das. Right brain, middle brain, left brain.
But then anyway.
No, not if I say there's a vak. If I say that if the parts of Zah is a vak, it's 6 spheres. Where am I starting my cheshbon? I'm starting my cheshbon from chesed. Chesed, so there's no brains. I'm starting chesed. That's the top of the parts. That's the beginning. It's vak, right? Correct? So now you're talking to Chab. That's really impossible to say, but it's because how can you have an evil without a head? That's what he's saying over here. Even though I'm telling you that Zah is a vak, it starts from chesed.
It's Yesod is a vak, but not that it is vak.
What?
That's what I was beforehand.
That's exactly what we're saying.
Vak is.
That's what we're saying here. Yeah, very good. Now, weiter. Ve'af al pi she'anu korim u'mechanim b'chinas mochim el zman gadlus. Now, we have to understand that when we mean mochim over here, there's 2 connotations to mochim. Mochim, that we generally use the word of mochim, really refers to a later stage in the growth of the pasuk. We say he's gone to a stage of gadlus. This is bar mitzvah, he has mochim the gadlus, he's 20 years old, he's a golul. Okay? But it has another connotations as well, as we're saying over here. That even though Zah is a vak, the also bechina of mochim, even in the vak stage, a mochim, even though it's hard to understand, because be'etzem, a cotton is labadas.
You said bar mitzvah twice now. Where's this got?
Huh?
You used the word bar mitzvah twice. Where's this coming to anything?
Zman gadlus. We're talking about, there's 3 periods of time. He just said it himself. There's 3 periods of time. Ibo, he's an infant. Yenika, when he's had the Leidat, he's born, and now he's being yonik. And then there's a man of gadlus.
Right.
What is a gadlus? When you become a godel.
Oh, that's what you meant.
Okay.
Not that
I said it many times. Right?
Not that something happens.
Something does happen. He gets new moichim here. It's a new stage in the life of the. That's what we celebrate.
There's no ceremony.
There is a ceremony. There's a ceremony here in this world. It's called a bar mitzvah. Right? I think somebody's making bar mitzvah soon, right? So you're going to make a ceremony. Right?
That's not what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
No, but VAC doesn't have a bar mitzvah.
We're talking about receiving something new which you didn't have. That's something why we celebrate in this world.
That's something. Is that the fact you reach a new stage? You've reached a new stage. It's not you go through a ceremony.
I know what you mean. Okay. Let's go back now. Afal pi she'anu korim u'mechanim b'chinas mochim el zman gadlus. Now, even though we say the vault is, we use this connotation of mochim. It's a gadlut stage. Ein asiba lefi shebeyinika beibo ein lo mochim. No, that's not to say that the zman yinika and ibo, which is man katlus, he doesn't have mochim. Shemuchachu shetamid yeh kolel es sfera shebo shemechalalam sham hem shlosha rishonos. Avada he has mochim when he was a child. We see a chush roy, right? We see that even in a child in the mother's stomach, he has a head, right, and he has brains. That's posher. Shein nikraim mochim. These are also called mochim. Ve'havin Aval asiba he b'mashen va'er ata. Hamochin shit. And the reason why we always use the connotation of mochin for a stage of gadlus, Hamochin sheyesh lo ibo v'yinika eino chashuvim. That's why we disregard the mochin stage in. We don't speak about it. That's why we use always the mochin for gadlus, because the mochin by him are gonishras. He's lavadas. The child cannot think at that stage. It's an ibo. They don't have mental processes as we have as an adult. Therefore, they're not choshev. Only when he's reached a gadlus stage, then those are chosh enough to be called mochim. When he's a gadol davka behavin zemeod, but not the afukite that he doesn't have any gadlus b'shem bizvan katnus. Now, so just to clear things up, because we're going to go into more details now. So there's two periods of growth over here. There's the zman katnus and the zman gadlus. Okay, is that clear? Two different distinct periods. Now, in the period of katnus, let's subdivide that period of katnus into two periods. Okay, well, not periods, but two places on the palsiv. Okay, katnus is again equated to Ibo, stages Ibo and Yanika. And then there is what we call two places on the palsiv, which is the Vak and then the Gal. Right? Makes sense? A child has to grow, both his bodily form has to grow and his head has to grow all at the same time through the katnus stage. It's poshut, right? You look at me as if I said some rocket science. I'm saying dvar pshut in the way.
I don't know what you said at the end. I mean, a child grows.
A child grows. Now, his body doesn't just grow just because he's a cotton. His head also grows, right? So his head is growing the same momentum, right? Same process as his body. His vak and his gar are growing both as he's going through the katnus stage.
The gar is
his head.
It's matched to head.
Head.
Okay.
That's
being the same, right? Okay.
Right? And his vak is his body. Okay, you got it clear? Katnus, both stages you're going to have. You're going to call it's called the vak de katnus and the gal de katnus.
Now that I know one means the head on the other,
That's right. Good. Talk about it. Now, in the gadlus stage, when he's a gadol already, same thing happens, right? You have a vak de gadlus and you have a gal de gadlus. Basically, the child when he's older also grows. Except the vak de gadlus we're not going to speak about, because once he's reaching his top growth at 20 years old, basically you don't grow anymore. Basically, reach your height, but your intelligence keeps on growing. As long as you're learning, you're going to grow your intelligence. So
the goofs changes.
Not really. Very little changes. Ain't no choshev, he says. But what's important is that your head grows, your gal. So we're going to speak about those three stages. Okay, we're going to talk about the vak de katnus, the gal de katnus, and then the gal de gadlus. The gal de gadlus. You got me? Very simple. Okay. Now let's start with the vak de katnus. The vak de katnus. V'zi bio inyo. Da. B'mei ibo v'yanika shadayim az nikroim yemei katnus deza. When he's still a child, that means ibo stage, yanika stage, he's called yemei katnus deza. Yesh bo gam ken b'china shlosha rishones shabo. We know he still has a gal, right? He still has a head. Then the Quran Tomid b'shem mochim zulas besides the vak. So again, you have a vak and a gal in the katnus stage. B'nei kavoshin is v'am b'shem b'vak yesh orot nitzutzim kelim shehem shlosha b'chines shebehem. And when we speak about these three stages again, the gal and the vak of the katnus, and we're going to speak about later on the gal and the gadlus, we're going to analyze the rectification process on the three different levels that we spoke about, called the oiras, the nitzutzos, and the kelim, as we spoke about just right now, just a few minutes ago. So here we go. Now let's talk about over here about the kelim. Meaning, ha-kelim hem. What do they refer to? What do they represent? The kelim hem ha-ivorim shebe'odom. When we speak about kelim, when we speak about odom, speak about look at their ivorim. That's what the kelim refer to. Now, when we speak about the spiritual terms called the nitzutzot, what does that refer to in bodily parts? Hem ha-nefesh shebe'evorim ha-chitzonim shebe'odom. Okay, again, so kelim represents both the volume with the internal organs and the outer limbs. The nitzutzos refer to the nefesh, that refers to the nefesh, the spiritual entity, which keeps those your organs, your exterior limbs, I should say, alive. So when I speak about nitzutzos, you have to know we're talking about the gidim, the basar gidim atzomas, the spiritual chalakim of it, right? Now, the last chelik is the oilers. What are they? They are nefesh shebe'evorim penimim. Now that's about the evorim penimim, which are she'ein b'hem basar gidim atzomas. What are they? They are lev, areya, the heart, the lungs, kloyas, the kidneys, and kavod, which is the liver, kiyot b'zeh. Okay, that's close. So therefore, we've rectified the kelim. There's rectification of the kelim, nitzutzos, and oilers, as we explained, connected the different parts of the bodies of the person. Now, Agavi tells us the ain't kavanah saying when I talk about nefesh as Arizal, I'm not talking about only about the nefesh. Sheshem nefesh kol chelke ruchnis nefesh ruach neshama chayachida. We know the neranch is all nichlal in the nefesh. It's just a generic name. Now we're going to discuss now the gal. Although that was in the vak the gadlus, yet anach. We described what the anach was for the vak the gadlus. Now we're talking about the gal the gadlus. V'hine gam shlosha rishonos yesh bo shlosha bechinas elu. In the Gal, which is a shlosha, which is chokhmah, bina das, yesh shlosha oras nitzuzake. We're discussing now about the anach of the gimel kelim. Vehem mamish aderech niska. They are mamish like the anach of the vak the katnus. The Gal the katnus are mamish the same thing. So let's start. She oras and nefesh ruach neshama shebe eva pnimim shebe oras shebehem, like we saw earlier on. What are these penimis of what? What are these oilers penimis to? The penimis to the moach, because we're talking about the head, that's the brain. So therefore these are the oil which is inside the brain. Atzmo she'ein bo bechinas bosa gidim atzom. That's the nefesh which is inside the brain. V'anitzutzot same nefesh ela evorim achitzoyin sheberosh. Then the nitzutzos represent what? They represent the nefesh which is in the chitzonius of the evorim, of the head. Akolim bosa gidim atzamas. And the kelim hem evorim atzmam. And that's the evorim atzmam, which is what? Which is the actual skull. So you have the skull, which is the kelim. You have the, again, this is all the ruchnis, right? We're not megashim here. The skull, which is the kelim. And then we have the nitzutzos, which are the evorim chitzoniim, which are the bosa gidim atzomas, which is inside the skull, and inside that you have what's called the brain, which you have the brain. That's the nefesh. Okay, so let's continue. Now Agavi tells us, "V'nir len es dati da'achayim she'akelim hakolim evorim chitzoniim penimim ela nichlaku l'shtei bechinas sheyesh bekeli penimis v'chitzonius k'nizke le'el." וזה עצמו בחינס evorim chitzonius penimim v'aven ze me'od kenir le'anes dati. So every time we speak a lot about the penimis of the keli, the chitzonius of the keli, very spiritual kelim, and the inside you have all, outside you have all. You have to know that this is exactly what we speak about here. When we speak about the evorim chitzoniums and the evorim penimim, that's the exact same Indians as we speak about the keli, penimis of the keli, and the chitzonius of the keli. Okay, now let's finish off. We have what's called now the gal the katnus. So far we spoke about the vak the katnus, we spoke about the gal the gadlus, and now we're going to go back to katnus stage, but we're talking about the gal the katnus. If you write it on a piece of paper, it's very clear. That so far was begadlus, gal the gadlus. Omnam, bizman katnus who we may ibo v'yinika, nitchalakim shlosh bechinas nizkorim b'ofen acher. V'hu shemin ha-kelim, let's start again, adach. Kelim nasi mevo mechitzoni shebehem atzomos hanikra tlat chalale gulgolta. Now when we speak of the katnus stage, the katnus, that means when the child is growing up, what's happening is that he is forming his skull. And in this skull there's three chambers for the chokhmah bina das. Nasi min atzomas mamish hayeveshe v'nasis b'tzuras shlosha kelim chalolim. Klo? Right? Now, what about the nitzutzos in the katnis, in the Gadi katnis? Nasi shlosha krumos sheyesh betoch tlat chalali gulgolta chofafim al moach hanis. So the nitzutzos are referring to the krum, which is the membrane, which is enveloping the brain. That's what we say with mochim de elokim. You have to know it's talking about the krum around the moch in the katnis stage. דינים יורדו מניצוצים הכלים גם כן בעולם הבריאה כנזכר לאל בדור של חפך הניצוצים. We know why. The Fashion asked a question over here. If we're referring to the Rafach over here, we know the Rafach is a Havaya, not Elokims. So why is he saying Molchim de Elokim? Because the Teretz is since we're dealing with Katna stage. Katna stage has to do with dinim. Since these nitzutz went down into the lower world, the bechinas dinim, they had the strength there to mechaya the kelim in order to make sure they wouldn't perish. So that's the nitzutzos. Nitzutzos represents the krum shebekelim in the katna stage. The bechinas are orots and the gadi katnas. Nasdi b'shlosha bochim atzma shehem kedimyon habosa arach me'ad me'od k'molecha levena ve'hem mochim mechumrim mamish. This is the actual brain in a person's head. The brain in the person's head, if you ask where does it come from, it comes actually from the oiras that come in the bechina and the stage of gadi katnas. אלא שהם יועסת צחי בזכים משעה בוסר בשעה עבורים. Now, אלו המוחים לחומרים נעשה בבחינס אורות שהם הוואי ממש. Now, in this stage of oros, if you refer to them in the shemus, then you would see them as havayas. Afilu b'mei ibo v'yinika, even though it's still in the katna stage, but since it's a higher level, the nitzutzot will be represented by shemus of Elokim. When you come to the oil stage, even though it's katnis, it will be havaya. You should remember this very, very well. If you should bechinas nitzutzos hem dinim, aval mochim hem shemois havaya. Let's continue. V'hine, kol ze v'ibo v'yinika. All that I spoke about to right now was about ibo v'yinika. Kizman gadol hu ba'ofen achen k'nizke le'el. She'kelim hem evorim. Nitzutzos hem nefesh evorim achitzonis. He's just repeating himself. V'oros hem nefesh evorim apenimim ve'em bechinas nefesh neshamas ruchnius gomu el hamochin achomrim nizkam shenase b'mei katnus ve'em gam ken bechinas shemos she'avaya acherim yoisem me'ulim ruchnim mishemos havaya she'muchim dechomrius achomrim atzma anizga. So even though we said that Shem Havaya is represented in the katna stage, but in the gadlus stage, the havaya is taken on a higher bechinas b'chlal. V'nimtza klal ha'oil. We come out with a klal from all this we've said so far. What is that klal? Oh, we nearly finished the pereck. Sha'mochim shel yemei katnus hemochim chumrim. When we speak about the mochim, that means the actual brain. V'hem havayas v'akrum shelahem hem shemos elokim. Aval amochim this man gadlo. It's ain't a bechinas mochim chumurim. They're not the actual brain, the keli. Ela rak neshama ruchnius amochim bilvad. That's what powers the brain. Asher elu din haneshamas ei shel amochim hem nimshochim miruchnius of the oros sheyesh bemochim the abba v'ima. Now, where do these lights come from? They come already from a higher bechina called abba v'ima, which is mezavik, and send down these oiras down into Zad, which represents his mochim. And they come even above Abba V'ima. What's that? Shehem archampim v'atik yomim b'ma shenivar b'zat Hashem, and we'll explain about that. V'nimtza shekol mochim sheniska b'chinas mochim de gadlus. Anytime we speak of mochim de gadlus, ain't a kavanah mochim chumrim. Don't make a mistake. This is what's called in English called the intelligence of Zaz, receiving it from the higher bechinas. She'elu kava nasu b'mei ibo v'yinika, because the actual brain was actually made only in the stage of ibo v'yinika. Rak kavana hi b'neshama v'ruchnius hamochim shenimshach b'mei gadluso. That's what we're referring about the mochim. Zohar ze v'lo tetai. Okay. Let's continue. Pereck base. Now le'inan rishon shehine nizbar le'el shalosh b'chines shezah or benukva l'taken. Now we spoke about earlier on the previous what we speak about. We spoke about the tikkun of nukva and zah. Now on the three bechinas of anach. Vehem oz nitzutzus lekeli. Kulam nichnesu l'taken besol the ibul בשלושה מקומות שיש בפרצוף הכולל לבינה ותבונה והם יסוד בינה ויסוד תבונה ובמקום חתך שבו שבין זו לזו. So again, let's think about what are we speaking about here. We're speaking about a combination of the four boxes. Remember? Okay, let's have a look over here. We have four boxes. Abi line, Imai line. We have Yisod Saba, bottom left box, and Tuna on the right. The bottom right box is Yisod Saba, and the bottom left box is Tuna. Again, Abba, Ima, Yisod Saba, Tuna.
This is only in the head.
No, I didn't say that.
You did on the previous page.
No, I'm saying, let's look at the Tmuna Klolis. The Tmuna Klolis is Abba Vima. This is not Zah. Abba Vima, Yisod Saba, and Tuna. Four boxes. Now, we can look at them again. SS fields in one box, SS fields. We can have 40 SS fields, right? Abbas is SS fields, Ima, Yisod Saba, each one. Or we can look at these four boxes as one big box. And if we can look at one big box, we'll see that the Yisod, one big box, means we're looking at 10 spheres. That's it, Bilvat. That means Chochma will be here, Bina will be here. We can play around with it, right? Therefore, Yesod would be at the lower place between Yesod Sab and Tfuna. That would be the Yesod Akloli. Yesod Akloli. Masha Enken, when we look at these individual Partsufim, let's look at the left side. We have Im on top, Bina underneath. You have 10 spheres in Bina, 10 spheres in Tfuna. You understand? Again, Bina is a Partsuf. Partsuf definition by Partsuf is 10 spheres. You have 10 spheres in Bina. Then you have 10 spheres in Tvuna, also Partsuf has 10 spheres. There's 20 spheres together, right? 10 plus 10 is 20. Now, you can look at all this as one Partsuf as well. You can do that. They can join together, Bina joins with Tvuna, and you can make 10 spheres out of those two. Because it's one Partsuf. One Partsuf.
When's the other 10?
They're there, but they're nivla. We're not looking at that. You ever see the picture of the old lady and the young lady?
No.
There's a picture. It's called an illusion. You look at it and they ask you, what do you see in this picture? Some people say, I see an old lady. Some people say, I see a young lady. It's a hologram. Depends on where you're looking at it. It changes its look to you. Okay? So I can look at this thing in two different ways. Right? Look at two different ways. Like the Moshe. There's two witnesses. One witness said, the killer, he wore black. And the other witness says, no, he wore white. Who's lying? They're both right. He was wearing a black top and white trousers. Depends what you're looking at. Okay? Understand? Now, so you can look at this Partsuf, not as two parts. I look at it as one big Partsuf. I see the top, I see the bottom. I see one big Partsuf. Therefore, let's redesign the 10 spheres to meet the 10 spheres from there to top to the bottom. So we're stretching it. So instead of the Yesod, one Yesod being on top, one Yesod being in the bottom, I have one Yesod which is basically in the middle. Okay? Therefore, I have three main points over here. I have the Yesod, which is on the top, which is called the Yesod of Bina. That's the actual. And I have a Yesod on the bottom, Yesod, right? Sifus Yesod on the bottom of it, called the Yesod of Tvuna. That's it. But if I look at it all as one Partsuf, I can have a third Yesod called in the middle, called the Mokum Chatach. Okay, so I have these 3 points. These are very strategic points that we're speaking about here. Okay? Then, he says as follows. That's what we just read. וזה סוד מה שאומרו חז"ל בגמרא, the Gemara says in Nida as follows. The Gemara Nida דף למד א' עמוד בייס, עמוד א', says, 3 חודשים הראשון טבלה דוב במודור התחתון, 3 אמצעי is מודור האמצעי, 3 החודשים האחרונים במודור העליון. והנה הם 3 מדורות נזכרות. So a baby, when a baby is born, first he's at the lower third, and then the baby grows from the lower third of the mother to the middle third and then the higher third. V'yuvan gam ken ma shehuva b'gemar shlosha chodoshim rishonim tashmish kasha leisha. The Gemara also says over there that the first 3 months tashmish is kasha for the isha vilavlat. Ashnim, the second 3 months is kasha leisha v'yofilivlat. V'achroinim yofil is it v'yofil is it. So that's all pshat in the Gemara. Now what are pisod? What does this mean? Pisod. What's pshat? The Arizal is going to tell you sod in the Gemara. Ve'ine kasha zeh. What is the pshat? Ve'ine b'shlosha chodoshim rishonim, the first 3 months of pregnancy. Atashmish v'zivuku limata b'sod b'yesod tvuna. Right? That's a bottom box. Bottom box you have yesod tvuna, and in the yesod tvuna that's the mokum that we're speaking about then. Lachen kivan shekavan hayta sham bias achas letzorach ibur. Remember Abba, and how do you get pregnancy? But the fact that Abba is machnes his tipa into ima, into the yesod, that makes the ibur come about. But you only need 1 beer for that. 1 beer to have an ibur. Nimtza shekol zivugim shayu misham ba'elech hayle vatola. Hayle vatola. In Otzrot Chaim it says kimat vatola. The Achronim of Medayik, why does it mean Kamat V'Toni? With the Pshat, the Kerem Shlomo, in the Kerem Shlomo, often it speaks about this. Shegava mas mafsik leisha bevlad abia rishona. So since it only takes 1 beer to get the ibu, all the beers mikan le'aba olivatol. That's Pshat kasher. Pshat is miyuta. That's Pshat in the Gemara. Now, the second period of 3 months, that's where the chatach is. Remember, when we look at the big partsuf, these 2 partsuf, there's 1, we know the middle part is that's the yesod, that's mokum chatach. As a zivuku livlad, it's good for the vlad, but kasha leisha, right? Shem letzorach nitzutzas asher sham, because we know again the anach, the kelim, or the medura tachton. The nitzutzas the medura emsoi, and the medura elyon is keneged the oros, right? When they go back into bina. So there, that's in the chatach. That's the mokum nitzutzas shesham. Aval isha atzmo kasher. So bishlam and the vlad, which is keneged the nitzutzas, what's the tachlis in the nitzutzas, it's good for them. It's another tikkun. A zivug will be another eze, another tikkun in the nitzutzas, but the isha. The fish ain't sham bechinas yisod a roy lebia v'lezivuk, so it's kasher leisha because there's no yisod there. It's only yisod the kloli, but it's not the emstig yisod of hers. Weiter, v'ashlosha chodoshim ha'achroinim she'azivuku b'yisod bina lemal. And then the third chelik is what the yisod which is above, which is in bina. As yofel evlad and love yofel leisha. Why is the yofel evlad? Why yofel evlad? Because she'hem bechinas ha'or shesham v'gam yofel leisha. Yofel because the oiros are there. The oiros that came from Bia, the back, all the way up there, the Medura Elyon, right there by Yesod of Ima Elohim. And therefore, when the zivug is happening over there, it's misakin the oiros there. Misakin the oiros also brings the Ma'al Ben over there. But those oiros also misakin. That's the Gab the Vlad. The Gam Yofel Isha Kisham B'chinas Yesod. The Yesod the Ima's over there. Shemokum bia v'zivug ein lo tsar. Therefore, there's no tsar over there because it's a mokum bia. Do
you explain something just then?
What do you want to ask?
I don't understand. You spoke rather cryptically.
What's the problem there? Again, in the Medura Elyon, the Gemara says there's 3 Meduras: the lower part of the stomach, middle part of the stomach, and the higher part of the stomach. That refers to that's first to parts. For parts of has 3 bechinas. Okay, Ima has 3 bechinas. Now the 3 bechinas are keneged, kelim, which are the lower Medura, nitzus in the middle Medura, and the oiros of the higher Medura. So when there's a zivug in the higher Medura, meaning there's a zivug in the yesod bina, as there is something which tutu. You're doing something over there.
Are we in any of them? Are we true in any of them?
Yes, in any of them. That's right.
Absolutely.
No, as opposed to the first Medura. The first Medura, in order for the Ibul to come about, you only need 1 zivug. You only need 1 zivug, not more than that. Understand? To be pregnant, you only need 1 zivug.
Right.
Okay. You don't need multiple. So the multiple zivugim after that is levotola. Because once you created the evil, that's at that stage, that's all you need, that's all required, that's the tikkun, that's all that's required is to create it. You've done the first zivug. More zivugim that doesn't have, that's called levatola. This is levatola. It's miyuta. And that's why it's kashel the zivug, kashel leisha and kashel levlag, because it's not needed. Mashiach over here, there's constantly new nitzutzah. So therefore, you constantly in new zivugim, but the zivugim are only in the nitzutzah klape. The help is only for the klape, the vlad, which is nitzutzah. But the isha, there's no mokum be'etzim to do the zivug. Mashiach in the third Madura, which there is, Madura Elyon, which there is a Mokum Yesod for Bina, therefore Taketz Yafa also the Isha. Veda, she'af al pi she'amarnu kishlosha chodoshim entzoim azivuk hu Mokum Chatach, ושלושה האחרונים הזיווג הוא יסוד הבינה, העניין הוא שכל בחינה השלוש של הוולד עולים למעלה. ואפילו בחינת הכלים למעלה ממדור למדור על המדור העליון, ואחר כך בעשר לידה מסגלגלים הוולד הכלול בשלושה ויורד למעלה עד למטה ויוצא אז הוא זמן לידה. So what is he saying now? He's telling you the process is that when there's a zivug happening and you've done the tikkun by the stage of evil, it's all done. So that kelim is not going to go up. The kelim are going to go up to the mokum nitzutzos, which is the medura emsoi, which is the mokum chatach. Once the zivug is done there by Abba v'Ima, then the kelim and the nitzutzos are masukin, and you're going to raise it up to the higher medura, and that higher medura, the kelim and the nitzutzos, go up to the medura, which is the medura elyon, which is where the oilers are held, right, with anach, and there the zivugim there will help both for the ish and the vlad. Therefore, be'etzem you masakin all three chalokim of zah. You masakin the kedim and the medura tachton, masakin the nitzutzos, medura emsai, and then finding the oilers in the medura elyon, and there you've done all the rectification, all the anach inside of ima. Okay, good. So next pereck is pereck Gimel. We'll stop it here. So Hashem will continue next time with me. Shkoyah.